Manam Khada Nyambi Simche Thamche. All prayers, at least here in Bhutan, begins with that. And I think it is safe to assume that all Mahayana practices begins with those lines. What do these lines actually mean? Manam Khada Nyambi Simche Thamche means, on a literal level, it means as much as there is space, there are sentient beings, and as much as there are sentient beings, they have all been our mother in a previous life. Hi, my name is Karma, and since it's a Wednesday, every Wednesday I do a post called #MyTake, and today the letter is D, and what I wanted to talk about is the Dharma. When we reached the alphabet B, I spoke about Buddha, and the gist of it was taking from my own life experience and practice. It was a big turning point, you could call it in a sense a pivot, when I, in my mind, was able to understand and comprehend that I am a fruit of my own actions and that the Buddha was not God. So the gist of what I spoke about when I reached the alphabet B was B for Buddha. Today I thought I'll talk about D for Dharma because today I want to first congratulate and thank all of my colleagues from my old office at the BBS. You guys did an excellent job, and I feel this is a great use of technology to be able to broadcast live the first day of the Kala Chakra Abhisheka or Wang. And like how I started this video, Manam Khadanyam Bisemche Thamche. The reason why I started with those lines were because I think many of us get lost in our practice, and then we forget that why are we practicing? And more than why we are practicing, all Mahayana practice and Vajrayana practice essentially has 3 points. The first is the intention or the motivation behind your practice. Secondly, there is the main practice, and finally there is the dedication. But with regard to this Manam Khadanyam Bisemche Thamche, I've even had guest Rinpoches who themselves have also said that it's a very ambiguous term, this all mothers, ancient beings. And over time, sitting, contemplating, reflecting, pondering, thinking, I have come to the conclusion that, first of all, Manam Khadanyam Bisemche Thamche, what it includes is, of course, it's easy to say that it includes all sentient beings. But when you seriously start thinking about it, it does include your parents, if you're married, your spouse, it includes your children, and it includes the stray dog that you find so annoying. It includes the person who is cutting you in traffic. It includes President Donald Trump, who I have now, with age and time, started finding amusing. It includes our leaders. It includes people who are dependent on us. It also includes, of late, my big revelation has been that it also includes me. So while we sit down for practice and we close our eyes or we open our eyes depending upon whichever tradition that you follow, we sit down and then we are, in a sense, generating bodhicitta. Then after that, we are sitting down and we are contemplating and at least verbally speaking about the 4 immeasurables. I find that in practice we forget why we are practicing. Just before I started recording this video, I was talking to my wife and I was joking with her and I was saying, today in my take, I'm going to talk about traffic jam. That got her to stop what she was doing and look at me and ask why. And I half jokingly told her that there is more opportunity to practice the Dharma in the traffic jam than there is to be sitting at the festival grounds of the great prayer ceremony. And by that, why I say half joking, and she was saying that, hey, maybe people will misinterpret that. And I was saying, no, in my years of working at the BBS and now of making these videos on TikTok, I am so happy that I find that many of my poems are being appreciated. Many of my dry jokes are being appreciated. And I was saying, in a sense, it looks and it feels like as if the general population has also grown and evolved. And I don't think that they will misinterpret or misunderstand what I'm saying. Because I find it, in a sense, easy, now that I've put 25 years into my practice, to be sitting on a meditation cushion or in my chosham and do my practice. But it is more harder to bring that practice to realization when I'm interacting with a stranger, or like I was sharing the example of a traffic jam. Everybody has been complaining about the traffic jam here in the Great Prayer Ceremony Festival here in Thimphu. And to everyone, and any friend or family that I've been speaking to, I always say that that's the cost or the price of peace. And I think all of us have been paying it. But how we pay it makes the difference. And I think if we allow somebody who is stuck and is trying to join the main traffic, if you pause a bit and you let that person pass in. Similarly, if somebody is acting out of the ordinary, to put it mildly, and you are mindful and you guard your peace while you are communicating with that person, I think then your practice is bearing fruit. And essentially, while people will say that, what is the essence of the Dharma? And they'll say, Dikpachi amajashi gewa pinsum soparache rangisemni yonsudul tini sangetembai. And while loosely translated, it means not to commit a single sin or non-virtue. Practice as much virtue as you can and tame your mind, and that is the Dharma. One thing, like a caveat that needs to be attached with these profound lines, I feel, is as much as possible. Very early when I was doing my Chanchup Shing, one master shared that revelation with me when he said that Karma Denrup, as much as possible. And that reality check has been a great boon and a blessing for me whenever I do my practice. Because many of us hold ourselves too high, to a standard so high that it exasperates us, and in a worst case scenario, it even turns our mind away from the Dharma. So I wanted to use this video today to remind ourselves that as much as possible, that's one thing. And while the essence of the Dharma, one will say, is to not commit harm or ahimsa, I think in this day and age, it is about, like I shared, manam kadanya bisemche thamche includes your family, it includes your friends, it also includes if you consider some people to be your enemy, and most importantly, manam kadanya bisemche thamche also includes yourself. So I hope all of you are deriving benefit and joy from the excellent coverage that the Great Prayer Ceremony people are doing. Lasso tashidele.